by the Crusaders of Holy Cross as they win this one 83-42. They take their record in the Patriot League to 9-5. Lafayette will go to 4-10. And as you look at the standings, Loyola is 3-10 going into tonight's game. Boston 2-11 going into tonight's game, and American is 1-12. So Lafayette still in a nice position to get a home game, but the last 4 games are going to be extremely meaningful as you get a look at the winning head coach, Candace Green.
And Gary, if they're going to hold on to that spot, obviously they've got to play better than they did tonight. It was just one of those nights for the Leopards, and tip of the cap to Holy Cross. They played very, very good basketball, and the numbers bear that out.
They did, and we should mention that Kay Donahue, one of Lafayette's starters, is now out for the season, and that has had an effect for sure on the Leopards as far as their ability to shoot the basketball, move the basketball, play good defense. Nobody played harder than Kay Donahue.
I was just going to say it has more to do with the way she played and the energy she brings. And, again, Gary, I'm so impressed with what Holy Cross does, but it starts with that center in the middle. Lindsey Berger, were it not for the differential in score and she had to play a whole game like this, I don't think there's any question she'd have had a triple-double.
Well, she ended up with 16 points, ended up with 8 rebounds, and ended up with 7 assists. That's a pretty good night of filling up the stat sheet. John's going to take us through some highlights, and then we'll look at some numbers, and we'll call it a night.
Yeah, Gary, early on, Lafayette showed some signs offensively. Of course, so we knew they had to get back on defense in transition against a Holy Cross team that really likes to run. And Mary Elizabeth Donnelly had just a huge game early on, especially that first quarter. She was just on fire. And, of course, Lindsey Berger, we talked about her numbers, the Parkland High School graduate, just having a terrific game. And I was just as impressed with Lindsey's ability to pass the ball from the post. Her mid-range game, her back-to-the-basket moves, we know she can score, Gary, but she has a very, very high basketball IQ, and she used it all tonight. Abby Antignoli doing what Abby does and doing her best, especially in the first half, to try to keep Lafayette close, hit a couple of big shots, but man, I'll tell you what, Holy Cross was absolutely relentless, and they came out, Meg Cahalan in the second half. So much of Holy Cross's offense was triggered by their defense and their transition game. Again, this is Cahalan from downtown. They all got into the act. Cahalan again, almost from the exact same spot, just on a complete roll were the Crusaders. And then Simone Foreman in the lane. We talked about them dribbling and kicking out. Cahalan again, but again, Gary, they had 20 assists midway through the third quarter. I don't know exactly what they ended up with. You got the numbers, but...
Well, 27.
That's incredible. 27 assists. I'm not sure when I've seen 27 assists in a basketball game. And if Coach Candace Green is going to highlight anything about this game film, she's going to highlight the way Holy Cross shared the basketball and ran their offense so effectively.
And they had 4 people in double-figure scoring. They were led, of course, by Lindsey Berger, 16 points, 14 by Cahalan, 15 by Donnelly, and 10 points by Foreman. They really spread it out. In fact, everybody that played in the ball game except one player scored for Holy Cross. So let's take a look at some of the numbers for you. And John, they're shooting from beyond the arc 48%, from field goal range 56%. These are numbers that you cannot beat. And again, the rebounding, they almost doubled up on our rebounding. They just played a great game.
Enough said. I know that they paid me an awful lot of money to do this, Gary, and I'll do my best to. You know what? I'm not even going to analyze those numbers. I'll just put them up there. Shame on me for trying to analyze anything about that. Those numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, no question about it. Probably as good a basketball game as a team can play. Lafayette has to regroup because they're going to play the #1 team in the Patriot League on Saturday. They will play at 2 o'clock. The men will play at 5 o'clock. We're trying to hang in there, but you know how end of games go. Timeout, timeout, timeout. The men right now are up by 3, but Holy Cross has the basketball, and there's less than a minute to go, about 56 seconds to go. So hopefully that will be a W for the Lafayette men. Not a W tonight for the women. We thank you for spending time with us in this one. Our thanks to Gabby DePaula, to John Leone, of course, and to all of you for spending time with us, and the Astound television team for taking care of all of the business as far as showing you the game. For all of us, I'm Gary Laubach. Goodbye, everybody.